Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. I get another awesome gift from the awesome Doug Bull. And what is your favorite movie knife scene? There are many. And I don't know if I've actually zeroed in on my favorite. I have a number of them, but new ones keep popping up. As a matter of fact, The Gangs of New York has been on cable where I live a lot recently, and I've just been kind of catching moments here and there late night. And man, a lot of great knife scenes in that movie. But I want to find out what your favorite knife movie scene is. And if you say it's from Crocodile Dundee, well, no, it can be from Crocodile Dundee. There's just one scene that it cannot be. Otherwise, you're completely canceled. It cannot be you know which scene it is. Marco, good to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, good to have you here, Marco, as always. Ground Fog, a pleasure, sir. Nice to have you here with us. Have a nice day. Good to have you here. Good evening, Junkalos. I hope you're getting ready for Blade Show. I'm sure I will see you there shortly. OG Blade Reviews. A lot of great knives from Dave tonight we're going to be showing off. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Ground Fog. My favorite movie knife scene is Lucy and the revenge scene with Bastinelli, twin Raptor L blades. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I did not even think of those movies. Lots of great knife scenes in those movies. There's a double. Of course, Bastinelli knives, I would have to say, is the best because they're recognizable and they're from our good buddy, and those are sweet. But there's also a double kukri scene, if I recall correctly. Very cool knives. Cobalt, good to have you here, sir. Hi, couple of favorite scenes. Tears of the Sun, 2003. Bruce Willis drops one of the bad guys with an Emerson PUK. That's a police utility knife. Soldier, that's a great movie. It's one of my wife and my favorite movies. We always stop on that one. Kurt Russell drops one of the enemies with the SOG Seal, 2000. Great movie. Carino 1, good to have you here, sir. Good evening, Jim, Bob, and fellow junkies. I thought the knife fight in Kill Bill Volume 1, yes, with Vernita Green was pretty good. It was good, complete with the part where there's a close-up on her resheathing, and she drags it across. I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, and right now you're happening to catch me in the middle of a Quentin Tarantino phase. I'm trying to catch up on all the movies I haven't watched in a while, and I absolutely love his stuff. But yeah, that knife fight scene is so awesome. And then the daughter walks in, Vernita Green's daughter walks in, and that's a tense part. Split and Slice is good to have you here, Byron. Howdy, Bob, Jim, Junkies. Thursday Night Knives, top two favorites, Inglourious Bastards, yes. Aldo Rain with the Nazi carving practice for Carnegie Hall, yep. And Rambo 2, Muddy Knife, Death from Behind. Muddy Knife, Death from Behind. I don't remember that particular scene, but yes, anything from any of the Rambo movies, I would have to agree with you. The Truth Is Now Hate Speech. Good to have you here, Josh Elwood. I like the knife fight in Under Siege with Tommy Lee Jones and Steven Seagal. Oh, Under Siege, yes. On the bridge of the ship. That was a submarine? That wasn't a submarine. It was too small. But it took place on the bridge, if I remember correctly. Lots of control panels around. That was a good scene. Matt Lamana, good to have you here. Matt stands to win tonight's Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway knife, as he is a Gentleman Junkie as of last month. We'll talk about that in a minute. He says, evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Any scene from The Hunted? Yes, sir. Sayok meets Hollywood. Groundbreaking for the time, and still now. I love that movie. Though I always thought the Tracker was a weird knife, as a fighting knife. Plus the Tracker blade profile still riding that wave. Many makers citing it as inspiration. Yes, there was a scene where he throws the knife and it goes through a freaking tree, and he pulls it out, and you can see it's like it's that shape basically, and a hole, and it's like, wow, that's quite a throw. Doug Bull, nice to have you here, Doug. Thank you. I'll be showing off what you just gave me, and man alive, do I love it, as does my wife and my kids, for various reasons, most especially the inscription on it, but I'll be showing that off in a minute. Doug says, my favorite was the different Jim Bowie knife fights from the movie The Last Command, starring Sterling Hayden as Jim Bowie. I have not seen that, but Sterling Hayden is awesome in Dr. Strangelove. He's, what's his name in Dr. Strangelove? Well, he's the base commander who goes off his rocker. You said feed me and I fed you. What was it? What was his name? Doug, remind me what his name was. But Sterling Hayden was an interesting guy and was in some very cool movies. But I think in real life, he was a pretty interesting person. Relentless Audits. Good to have you here, sir. Looking forward to the show. Kershaw in the pocket today. Like button smashed. Good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You can't just say Kershaw. You gotta let us know which one it is, sir. Question: how do you enter for the giveaway? Well, for tonight's giveaway, there's something flying around down here. For tonight's giveaway, you have to be a Gentleman Junkie, which is our top tier of support in on Patreon. And on the third Thursday of each month, we give a special knife away. Tonight, it's a knife and a tactical pen, both from Off Grid Knives. So that would have to be Patreon. So tonight's giveaway, you have to be a Patreon Gentleman Junkie. We do have other knife giveaways on other nights. I call them open source. It's for anyone. I'll be showing off some of the knives that Dave of OG Blade Reviews just gave me to give to you over the next bunch of months. So we'll show those off shortly. Have a Knife Day says, beside the knife scene from Crocodile Dundee, John Wick. Don't even say it. But yes, John Wick, many of them. But my favorite is, it's in your carotid. You know, if you pull it out, you're going to die. So get yourself to a hospital. With Common on the subway, very cool knife fight scene. That was he had a combat Troodon dagger, and Common, or the character played by Common, had a cold steel safe maker, I believe it is, the boot dagger. That was sweet. Jerry C., good to have you here, Jerry. What's up, fellow junkies and blade lovers? And I think that's what this is. MM. Good to have you here, man. Split and Slices says, the best part of Lieutenant Aldo Rain's scene, the BRK Shining Mountain Bowie, if memory serves. Yes. So it wasn't a Bark River knife, but that knife was designed originally by Mike Stewart, but the one that they used in that was the one that was made for Winchester knives when he was with Winchester before Blackjack, and they took I remember reading about this, and they took a Winchester version of the Shining Mountain Bowie and put a nice stag crown handle on it. I agree. So cool. I love that knife, and I love the scenes, and I love Brad Pitt, and I love that movie, and oh my God, that movie is just so good. And that's also been on high rotation on cable recently, and I've been watching that a lot. And now Chinatown is on rotation. That's my favorite movie of all time. I just watched that last night. What a great movie. If you guys haven't seen Chinatown from 1974 with Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway, you have to watch it. Now, it has a slower pace than your movies from the 2000s, but man alive, it is the best. And it's known as the best screenplay. And I got to say, it's my favorite movie. Still is. S. Hines, nice to have you here, sir. What's up, everybody? Well, what's up with you, S? Good to have you, man. Benedict Odie, nice to have Benedict with us. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and all fellow junkies. Ben, I will be seeing you in just a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that at Blade Show. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door, good to have you here. Hello, Bob, and everybody. Hello, Angry Tom. I hope you're not so angry on this night. It is a Thursday, so Thursday Night Knives. Jeremy Giroux, good to have you here. Wait, Gerard. I think I asked you for your pronunciation. This is not a hashtag knife situation. Tonight, this is not an all-access giveaway. This is a Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. We're giving away a bolt pen and thisy here. Let me put it under the main camera. Off-Grid Knives Stinger XL in full flat ground. He's calling it a drop point. It's the same profile as the original that had the bayonet grind, but now it's full flat ground. It is awesome. So incredibly slicey. And I've been carrying mine, which I'll be showing you in a minute, all the time. I'm sorry, Jim, can you put that last one up, please? I want to just acknowledge Seth Presley. Nice to have you here, Seth. Inglorious Bastards, Stag, Shining Mountain, Bowie, bro. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Couldn't agree more. This is the pen we're giving away. This one is mine. If you win tonight, you're a Gentleman Junkie. Yours will be a brushed or a matte olive drab. This has the glass breaker on one side of the bolt action. On the other side, an awesome pen with a refill that is like the Parker Jotter, my favorite pen. That's the pen I use at work. I love that pen. Paul Mills. Hello, everybody. Hello, Paul Mills. Nice to have you here with us, sir. Scott. Hey, y'all. Hey, Bob. Hello to you, Scott. Nice to have you here with your helmet and sword. S. Hines says, one of the final fights in the movie The Equalizer. Yes. Lots of good fighting scenes in The Equalizer. I really like that movie. Well, those movies. I like all three of them that I've seen. An American Father. Nice to have you here with us. Good evening, junkies, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Always a pleasure. Craig Vincent. Evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Nice to have you here, Craig. Mr. Vincent, have a nice day, says, I'm canceled, but I've never been a follower. No, you're not a joiner, not a follower, but you're canceled if you say it's the that's not a knife. This is a knife. I have grown to despise that line so immensely over the last 40 years that I just cannot stand it. Especially, I don't know why. I just can't. I know why. I just don't like it. It was funny when I first saw it, and he slashes up the guy's Michael Jackson jacket, and he says, that's not a knife, that's a knife. But, man, you'll find in life that whenever you produce a knife to a non-knife person, they'll say that. And it's like, ooh, The Outsiders. Adrian, going deep. Adrian Fighter 35, nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Two favorite scenes of mine are the knife fight scenes in Predator, yes, sir, with Billy on the, and The Outsiders when Johnny saves Ponyboy at the park. What I like even better than that, it's not a knife fight scene, but it's when, let's see. Let's do this for Johnny. It's when he's in the hospital. Matt Dillon is in the hospital, and he does his butterfly knife. Let's do this for Johnny. He undoes his butterfly knife and stabs it into the hospital bed. That left an impression. Even more so than the knife fight scene. But I love those books, S.E. Hinton books about tough kids in the 50s, and those movies were awesome. And my daughter introduced herself to The Outsiders. We gave her the book, and then she found the movie, and she's in love with like Thomas Howell and all those young guys who are now old farts, like older than I am. She's like, oh, he's so dreamy. She's got a thing for those kind of tough guys, I guess, which I like. I prefer that to the soy boys. Ron Crow, nice to have you here, Ron. Hey, junkies. Well, hello to you, sir. Good to have you here. Jerry C says, the best part of my Thursday is right here. Yes. Good to have you, man. This is the best part of mine, too. My only go-to knife and all things bladed channel. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Just like Jimmy throwing up the deuces. It's good to hear that. You put wind in my sails, and I appreciate your kind words. Scott, Beastie Boys sabotage bridge scene with the Spider Co. Nice. Deep cut there, Scott. Sabotage is my wife's favorite running song. She runs, and she's got her little playlist. And I'm a big fan of Paul's Boutique. And, I don't have all the Beastie Boys albums, but the ones I have, I love. For me, it's Paul's Boutique. That's my favorite. And then, there are others. The one with Intergalactic, I love. But now I'm not remembering. But I just like that you mentioned Beastie Boys, and so there we go. Have a Nice Day says A Soldier is a highly underrated movie. It says so much without saying the bare minimum. I love the eating scene. I love eating scenes in movies, period. But that is great. I remember watching that with my brother-in-law right after he got out of the Marine Corps in 2006, and he came back from Iraq, and we happened to be watching that with his sister, my wife, and he was like, "That's what it was like eating in the Marines." David Nephilim Slayer, good to have you here, David. Valachi papers with Vito Genovese's men come for Gap. This I don't know. Valachi papers. When Vito Genovese's men, Genovese, come for Gap. I'm going to have to look that up. Valachi papers. The Long Rider, 1980, The Long Riders. Which scene was this? Is this the one where the two are bound by the hand? And David Carradine, is he in that? And they fight in a bar? I think that might be what that is. Daniel Huff, nice to have you here, Daniel. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. My favorite knife scene is between Cole Younger and Sam Starr in the movie The Long Riders. Is this the one? I think this is the one where they're bound by the wrist. Is this right, or am I off? Let me know, because that's what I'm thinking. And they're in a bar. Cat Scratch says, hello, everybody. Hello to you, Cat Scratch. Good to have you here, sir. Waylon, hashtag knife, late, but made it. Waylon, good to have you here. I got to say, it's not a hashtag knife situation. This is a Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. So this is for patrons tonight. But pretty much every other week we do a hashtag knife situation. I just didn't want to disappoint you, so I thought I'd tell you up front. Split and Slices says, Bob, Rambo 2 scene where John completely covers himself. Yes, on the muddy. Yes, that's cool. On the muddy hillside, enemy walks, stands in front of Rambo. You only see his eyes, and then wham, heart kebab. Yes, heart kebab indeed. Brown Sugar 0069. Good to have you here, Brown Sugar. Hello, Knife Junkie. Hello to you, Brown Sugar. Always a pleasure. What's your favorite knife scene? Let us know. From a movie. I guess it could be from TV, but that might be hard to the show True Detective season 2 had a lot of good knives in it, if I remember correctly. I remember a CQC7, but there were other things too. Strings, nice to have you here, Strings. I don't know if you were watching just before, but formerly yours and currently my Bowie was out on display. Love this thing. Thank you for the trade. What's up, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies? I love the John Wick fight scene on the subway. Yes, sir. Where Wick uses the combat Troodon, and then he sticks the cold steel in the aorta of Common. I love that. Nin Jersey. Good to have you here, Nin Jersey. Under Siege, Seagal, Tommy Lee. Yes, sir. You're the second one to mention that. That is an awesome scene. I'm going to say right now, Exposure. I love that movie, and it got very little. It's kind of a hard movie to find. It's starring Peter Coyote and that cool French guy whose name I can never remember. And Peter Coyote plays a photojournalist who's in Brazil, I believe, and he gets involved and starts covering the underground knife fighting scene, which is so cool. But I love the knife selection scene. There are a couple of Randalls. He ends up picking a Randall 14 attack, I believe. But there are other cool things. There's a little sub-hilt fighter. And what a cool movie that is. I wish they would redo that. Maybe I should redo it. Yep, that's what I'll do. I'm going to start a Patreon just so that I can raise money to start my own knife fighting movie. Joseph S. says, good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Joseph, it's a pleasure having you here, sir. Shane, Edgy American Blades. Hey, guys. Good to have you here, Shane. I tried calling you yesterday. Sorry we haven't gotten in touch, but I hope you're doing well, man. Relentless Audits, Extraction. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Chris Helms' knife fight scene on the street with a karambit. That was good. That was pretty good karambit fighting, too. There was also a good karambit scene in the end of Taken, and the bad guy has a karambit, and of course Liam Neeson just freaking kills the hell out of him, and I love that. So gratifying when bad guys just get killed in movies. I gotta say, in movies. It's also nice when they get killed in real life, but not supposed to say that. Doug Bowles says, Bob, the round ball of the shillelagh is actually the root of a blackthorn and filled with molten lead. All right, let me show this to you right now then, so you know what he's talking about. No way. All right, so Doug Bowl just sent me this blackthorn walking stick. And a blackthorn walking stick is a traditional Irish shillelagh, walking stick shillelagh. And this is cool. Check this out. Look at how big this is. It's not just a cane. It comes up to here. Comes up to right here. So above my waist, halfway up my belly. And it's the kind you can, I don't know, it's pretty cool. But it also gives you a lot of reach. And apparently blackthorn is a really, really tough and solid wood. And then you have this knob on the end, which is filled with lead. I love that it's filled with lead. I mean, it feels heavy. You can tell that it's heavy, but man alive, this thing is amazing. And I can't wait to show my father, who he doesn't collect walking sticks, but he's got a couple of doozies, and he's been on some serious treks around the world in his day. He's not trekking anymore, but he has in the past. And then this, God provides my strength. I love that. I love that. When my daughters saw that, they were like, oh my God, that's so cool. But they say gosh, because they're good girls. But yeah, I love that. God provides my strength. God and family provide my strength. And then country also. But thank you so much for this, Doug. I appreciate this so greatly. I forgot you said you were going to send me this. And when it showed up on my doorstep, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? That can only be a sword, but what is it? And then when I saw Doug Bowl, I was like, Doug, what is this? You know, and it started slowly coming back. And then, of course, when I pulled it out and unwrapped it, I was like, oh, yeah, because I can be a bit of a space cadet. But, man, I love this thing. It is so beautiful. And my first frame of it says CAIDHLA. I think that's the maker. It says that right under here. But my first frame of reference for this type of walking stick / shillelagh was the plastic version that Cold Steel came out with. And I looked into it and discovered that it's a thing. Oh, yeah, you can feel that there's lead in there. Yes, that makes sense. But I found out that it's a cultural, a cultural standby for the Irish. And man, I love this. Thank you so much. Not only does it mean a lot to me, Doug, but I can't wait to go for a walk with it. Can you put up the last one before Canary, and then I'm going to greet Canary like a proper gentleman. OG says, FYI, the concept bison on the way. Okay, if you guys don't know what this is, it is an amazing new collaboration between Concept Knives, who builds folders so beautifully and impeccably, and Ray Laconico. And it's, most Ray Laconico designs are recognizable. This, when you say it's from Ray Laconico, or I was like, oh, I guess I can see that. It doesn't look like your usual Ray Laconico. First of all, it's got a 4 1/4 inch Bowie blade. It is so beautiful. And then it's got a long, sort of gradually arced handle with double quillions. And it is the coolest folding Bowie I've seen in a long time. So I can't wait to see yours, Dave. And I most definitely have to get mine. Canary. Are you just showing up, or are you just pulling my leg? Canary S, good to have you here, man. Canary SK says, favorite knife scene is a movie. In a movie is probably, that's not a knife. This is a knife, with the big Bowie knife from Crocodile Dundee. Okay, Canary, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I said that was the one scene in all of cinema history that you could not mention, but you sadly disobeyed. Hey, man, I gotta say, I will accept your answer, because it is an answer. But the reason I bristle at that is because every time I pull out a big knife in my entire life since that movie came out, that's what people say. And so I've gotten tired of it. But if that's your answer, man, I love you. I love that you're here. And I love that you have an answer to that question. So cheers to you. Relentless Audits. I am a patron member. Woohoo! Relentless Audits. Thank you, man. I'm going to have to make sure that I read you when I read off all the patrons now. I also have to welcome a new patron as of yesterday or today. When did that happen? Jesse Graybear. I'm sorry. Geez. Yes, I can read. gray beer. Maybe I just want a beer. But we have a new Gentleman Junkie, Jesse Gray Bear. I want to thank you, sir. Thank you for being a patron. I really appreciate it. You stand a pretty good chance of winning this knife tonight. So I guess it's a 1 in 32 chance of winning. I don't know what those odds are, but I guess it's 1 in 32 and pretty good. So Jesse, I want to thank you for your support, man. And Relentless Audits, I want to thank you for your support. Make sure you declare it. But I'm very, very happy. I don't know if that was actually audit humor. It was my attempt at audit humor. Craig Vincent says, Big Jake, John Wayne throws a knife into a tree where a lynch mob is about to hang a sheep herder in order to dissuade them from carrying out the deed. Ooh, that sounds cool. Big Jake. I have not seen that one, but I like John Wayne in general. S. Hines says, well, I'm out of here. Then you know if it's the case on your well, I'm out of here. Then you know if that's the case on your subscription page. You should have had a private feed. Not sure I know what you're saying. Well, I'm out of here. Then you know if that's the case on your subscription page. You should have had a private feed. All right. Oh, because I'm not giving away a knife tonight. Sorry to have offended S. Hines. I give away a knife every single week. This week, it happens to be for patron members. But next time, maybe I'll do that. Okay, Cat Scratch says, John Wick Bally Song scene. Which one is that? Bally Song. I don't know. I like all John Wick movies. And I like when the Bally Song is represented in a way that's not too flashy, that's straight to action. I also like it when the handles are used as flails in the usage thereof. God, this one is a terrible scene. Ninjersey says, Saving Private Ryan, that knife kill still haunts me. That is such a terrible scene. Oh man, that cuts to the quick and breaks the heart. I know exactly what you're talking about. Funker 530 has a video of the Russian versus Ukrainian knife fight. I have not seen that. Don't want to see it. I saw a really horrible video from Russia. I think it was, I don't know where it was. It was in the late 90s or early 2000s. And that is something I cannot scrub from my mind, but it was terrible. And I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. This wasn't a fight. This was more of an execution, I guess. But oof, the real stuff. Edgy American Blade says the Bally Song scene is in Streets of Fire. Oh my God, Streets of Fire was just on recently, and that was cool. The hammer scene where they fight with the hammers, that was amazing. Jeremy Gerard says John Wick on the subway scene. Great scene. I mean, there are some classics too. No one has mentioned Commando. Bennett, Let's Party. I love that scene, even though it's terrifically unrealistic. It's an awesome scene. And then there's the Rambo 4, or I think it's just called Rambo at that point, where he goes back to Myanmar, I guess, and he has to rescue all those missionaries. Ugh. And he forges out that cleaver style blade. That is a nasty one. Have a Knife Day says the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid knife fight. Yeah, that's a great one with the guy who played Jaws from James Bond. There's no rules in a knife fight. He gets kicked in the family jewels. Yes, and also a great part about that knife fight scene is that the guy who plays Jaws from the James Bond movie has his Western style Bowie backwards like this. He's going to fight like a mountain man. And I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that guy's got he's holding it wrong, and I was convinced of that for years. And then I learned about the mountain man method of knife fighting with a Bowie, where you're using the swedge first and then, stabbing and gutting this way. And it made me have even more respect for that amazing movie. What a great movie. 70s are unmatched. The 70s are truly unmatched for cinema history. I love 70s movies. And then my second favorite would be the 90s. Lots of great movies in the 90s too. At least for the period of time I was alive. Nin Jersey says Jason Bourne scene was good. He didn't have a knife. Oh yeah. But a book and a pen. Yeah, all straight up collie stuff in that office, and he rolls up a magazine too, I believe. A great knife fight scene. Great scene in the library in the beginning of John Wick 2 or 3, can't remember, where he's fighting that giant he's a basketball player in real life. And he uses a book to kill that guy, but that guy has a knife. A great scene there. Have a Knife Day says, I'm getting a new run of shorts together. A Kerrigan Bowie. Ooh. We'll be wearing it to Blade Show. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Now, a Kerrigan Bowie, that has no crossguard, am I right? And a coffin-shaped handle. James Hart, evening all. Well, good evening to you, sir. Good to have you here, man. Matt Lamana says, Talladega Nights, convinced he's paralyzed. Ricky Bobby plunges a steak knife into his legs. Into his leg. Comedy ensues. I think I've only seen that movie once, though it definitely deserves more. I mean, I'm a Step Brothers fan, and I like the combination of those two actors, so I should probably watch Talladega Nights again. Jerry C. says, I always wondered just how much money was generated for the knife industry from the Rambo movies. I bet we would be surprised. Granted, I don't think many of those Rambo knockoffs were good quality, nor were they going to the knife industry here in the United States, because those things were Chinese crap. And I had one. We all had one, probably, with the bottle opener right here. Or no, it was on the back. Kind of funny with the kind of K-bar-ish blade with the serrations and the bottle opener, and the tang that was about a half-inch long with the screw, and then the cylindrical plastic handle with the big bulbous compass, and then all the stuff stuffed in there. The knife fight at the end of Under Siege. James, this is the most mentioned knife fight so far, and I think that's good. Jay Korskadden, good to have you here, Jay. We're back. Good to have you here, and your cute dog. Always a pleasure. Edgy American says, Streets of Fire, Michael Pere, Diane Lane, Willem Dafoe. He was so creepy in that movie. He's great. I love Willem Dafoe. Rick Moranis, awesome knife fight scene. Now, the knife fight scene I do not remember. All I remember from that movie, and only because the hammer fight scene, where they fight with sledgehammers, popped into my YouTube feed recently. But I saw Streets of Fire, when it came out in the 80s, and I just don't remember the knife fight scene, unfortunately. David Nephilim Slayer says, Ted Cassidy, Lurch, played Harvey and Butch Cassidy. Lurch. Was he Lurch in the Addams Family? Seth Lang, nice to have you here, Seth. Hey, y'all, junkies. Powers Booth, and I always thought Powers Booth was super cool. Powers Booth and Fred Ward fighting with bayonets in The Cajun's Bayou in the movie Southern Comfort. It's one of my dad's favorite movies, with Brian James, R.I.P., the one-armed tracker cheering on Booth. Okay, I need to see this movie, because when my dad and my uncle would talk about this movie, I was little, and I remember seeing the VHS jacket at the store, but could never watch it because I was too young, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I have to see this Southern Comfort. Ryan Lynch, nice to have you here, Ryan. Evening all, not a movie, but the Punisher series with John Bernthal has a great knife fight scene. I like John Bernthal a lot, and that Punisher series is really good. Pardon me. An American Father, I teach sear classes. Damn, that's cool. I thought I had my sear knife out with me. That's really cool, American Father. I teach sear classes. That's survival, escape, resist, and evade. Is that right? I can never remember. And I am often asked if I follow this or that YouTube knife guy. My response is always the same. I only know Bob. Oh, yes. Thank you, sir. That makes me feel awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's cool. Nin Jersey says, Gangs of London, the show, has some nice knife fight choreography. I've been wanting to watch that show, The Gangs of London. Lots of apparent knife crime in London. That's just because they don't have other things to fight with, I guess. Jerry C, I can't resist. I would love to do an eating scene with Jennifer Aniston. Hubba hubba. Oh, I'll just let that go. Benedict Doty says, +1 for Paul's Boutique, High Plains Drifter, and Eggman. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will spare you my Mike D. Seth Lang says, also, not technically a fight, but Tom Berenger and Platoon with the push dagger. Yes, I love that. That is so cool. And that's not just any push dagger. That is an anachronism for that movie. It's a Cold Steel, whatever the Cold Steel push dagger was at the time. I have one of those, and it was in the leather sheath, duct taped. And I remember thinking, duct taped to his suspenders. And I remember thinking, watching that, and also watching Full Metal Jacket with the upside down duct taped K-bars and stuff, thinking like, why would they put duct tape on their leather sheaths, man? It's going to ruin their sheath. And that was before I got wise and was like, oh, that doesn't matter. They're in war. None of that shit matters. Craig Vincent says, Patrick Swayze's climatic sword duel. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so, Craig, I knew nothing of this movie until several weeks ago. My wife and I, it was late night. It was after some family event we went to, and we came home and we poured ourselves a drink and we sat down and watched some TV, and we came across Patrick Swayze. We're like, what's this? And it was Steel Dawn, and oh my gosh, what a fromage movie. I loved it, but so cheesy, and a great sword fight scene with the cheesiest 80s prop swords imaginable. No, cheesiest 80s futuristic prop swords imaginable. Great movie. It's all in the reflexes. IYKYK. What is that? James, it's good to have you here, James. Always nice to have James Moore with us. IYK, what is that? All right, let me know what that is. IYKYK. I know I'm going to be like, oh, of course, but you got to let me know, because now I don't know. Jay says, Michael Jackson beat it knife fight scene. Oh, they also bind their hands in that. That video was directed by Martin Scorsese. So good video. And then who directed? John Landis directed the guy who did he was the guy who did American Werewolf in London, right? He did the Thriller video. Doug Bowl says, my two favorite movies with several Bowie knife fights was The Iron Mistress in 1952 with Alan Ladd. I have not seen that, Doug. I have seen what the Iron Mistress Bowie looks like, and I believe there's a copy of that in the Smithsonian, one of the Smithsonians. I haven't seen it. The French actor in exposure was Checky Cario, says OG Blade Reviews. I've always thought that guy, Checky Cario, now I know his name, and now it's forgotten now that it's off screen, but I always thought Checky Cario was just a cool dude. He's just like, I don't know, something about him, super cool. And he pops up every once in a while in different older movies. But what a cool movie Exposure is. If you haven't seen it, if you're watching this show, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth seeking out. It's so cool. You can get bits and pieces of it on YouTube. Donald Fry, nice to have you here, Donald. Evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Glad to hang out with everyone this evening. Well, it's awesome to have you here, Donald. Ira Hayes, nice to have you here, Ira. A Grand Art, yes, aka Exposure, 1991 by Walter Salles. Very fine taste, Ira. That's what I was saying. My favorite knife fight scenes are from that movie, for sure. And a lot of it has to do with, well, it's a cool movie. It's a great, like I said, I'd love to see a remake, but not a cheesy remake, just a great movie like that, remade today with great knives, because that movie has great knives. Edgy American says, the Boondock Saints armory scene with the survival Bowie. Oh, I know you're a huge fan of the Boondock Saints. I saw that movie when it came out. I don't remember much about it back in those days. I wasn't always sober when watching movies, but I don't remember the art that scene at all. So I'm gonna have to check that out. Jeremy says, actually, Fellowship of the Rings orc kill by Aragorn was stellar too. A lot of cool swords and knives in that movie. And then if you watch the extras, on the CDs or DVDs from those movies, and you see the wetland, what are they called? The Weta workshop that made all the swords, and they were the armorers. Such cool stuff. Strings says, I did see the Boker Bowie. Just one of the many reasons I love Thursday Night Knives. I get to see you enjoy the blades I've traded with you. And also, yes, sir. This has been my morning companion. I have a new exercise regimen, which is awful because it's mostly burpees. And between sets, this is what I've been shadow boxing with. And man, I'm almost liking burpees at this point. The Edge with Anthony Hopkins. What a great movie that is. And Baldwin is in that too. What a great movie. And then he's got that cool lockback, like fancy lockback knife. I love that movie. Something I love about that movie, The Edge, it's Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin are stranded in the wilderness of Alaska, I think it is. And Alec Baldwin has been sleeping with Anthony Hopkins' wife. And Anthony Hopkins is a rich dude who's got a young model wife. Alec Baldwin at this point is young and virile, and he's the photographer. And they get stranded. And actually, the guy from If You Know, You Know. Thank you, Jim. That was a few minutes ago. The guy who's the helicopter pilot was the dude from Lost. But anyway, Anthony Hopkins prevails, even though he's like a very effete kind of urban guy. He's now in the wilderness, but he's read so much that he knows a lot, and he learns how to survive in the woods and how to defeat this bear that's stalking them, this grizzly that's stalking them. Whereas the virile Alec Baldwin crumbles into a bit of putty, kind of like the Burt Reynolds character in Deliverance. Two great movies. Craig Vincent says, this is a kill, Bill the Butcher. A lot of cool scenes with Bill the Butcher. And I love that they're almost all steak knives, or, butcher knives that he uses. And I love his apron. Oh. But the scene where he fights with Leonardo DiCaprio in all of the cannon smoke, very cool. James Hart, in Under Siege, didn't Seagal use a kitchen knife? Yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones had a dagger. It was, I think it was the Gerber Mark II. Am I right about that? Was it a Gerber Mark II? I know someone out there knows. Split and Slices says, there's knife-loving DNA hidden in the amber of that walking stick, no doubt. Cool gift, Doug Bull. Yes, sir. Look at that knob. That's so awesome. That's what she said. I love that. And I love that it's got lead in there. Just for a little just in case. I'm going to start carrying that when I walk the dog at night, actually. That's a good nighttime dog walking stick. Valley Song scene in Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell and Jeff Imada, says OG Blade Reviews. That is my wife and her brother's favorite movie. They grew up watching that over and over and over a million times on the floor like this. I've seen it with them, and I love that it's a shared passion between the two of them. And I've enjoyed the movie and stuff. I like that he has a Gerber boot knife in that movie, if I remember correctly. But I just don't get it the way they get it. But Jeff Amada's cool. It's the long hair, and he was always cool. Karen Slavin, nice to have you here, Karen. Hello, all. If swords count, which of course they do, I will take any of the Highlander series, if not the End of Commando. Yes, I'm with you on this. End of Commando with the bad guy, Bennett, let's party. And Bennett has the knuckle duster knife with the serrations on the back, which makes no sense, actually, because they're serrations that you would use for notching in a survival situation. And yet the hilt is a fighting kind of hilt like this knife here. But I'm willing to forgive that because Arnold's knife is so effing cool in that movie with the it also has the serrations, but it has this the whole top half of it has a super sharpened swedge, and it just looks cool when you stick it in someone and you twist. I love that when he coaxes Bennett to drop his Mac 11 and just fight him with a knife like a man. And then he ends up throwing the pipe all the way through his chainmail vest, through his entire thick body, the other side of the chainmail vest, and through the boiler, and steam comes out. Amazing strength that Arnold has. Seth Lang says the climactic fight in Brotherhood of the Wolf. I forgot all about that movie. That's with Dos Cascos. What's his name? The Karate Man. That was a great movie. It was a French werewolf movie or wolfman movie that takes place in like the 18th century France. Lots of cool hardware. That is a freaking cool movie. I saw that in the theaters in New York City when that came out. What was his name? Something Dos Cascos or Docascos. Help me out with the name, please. Announcing one's departure is never necessary. Announcing one's departure is never necessary, says Edgy Blade. Hey, you know what? I'm all for the Irish goodbye when I'm at a party. I'm like, let's dip, baby. And we walk out because I come from an Italian family. My wife comes from a Bolivian family. When you say goodbye, you're saying goodbye to every single person individually and kissing and the whole thing. And it takes an hour. You got to plan ahead. So I'm all for that Irish goodbye, just kind of dipping out. But one thing to say, I must say, Shane, here, all you got to do, if you want to say goodbye, I'm all for it because, I want to bid you a good weekend. But I hope you're going to Blade, Shane, and I can't wait to hang out with you there. I know we've been trying to connect. I can't wait to see you there. Jesse, good to have you here, Jesse, with your crow plucking the eyeballs. Birds and dogs, baby. Lone Star Cowboy, good to have you here, Lone Star. You've got two cool Bally songs. One of them I recognize the Lucha, and then the other one, I think that's Benchmade. I don't know. Bally song was in Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams. I haven't seen that one in a long time and certainly would not remember it. But yes, got to look that one up. Victor Blades, nice to have you here. Vito, Kill Bill, come on, Hattori Hanzo, those, wow. Yes, when they go up into what's her name? Uma, I can only think of her real name, goes up into the attic and he shows her all the swords and he cuts the tennis ball in half. So cool. Craig Vincent, Riff and Bernardo knife fight scene in West Side Story. No, not really. Nice. LOL. I guess some folks only come for the free stuff. I'm here for the awesome conversation with like-minded knife people. The giveaways are a much appreciated bonus, says Strings. Well, thank you, Strings. I appreciate that. And, no hard feelings to S. I can't remember what the rest of his name. But, I mean, you can just leave. You don't have to be an ingrate. But anyway, come if he's still listening, which he might be, which would be extra creepy. Come next week, we'll be giving away knives to all next week. Ninjersey says Vivica Fox, Uma Thurman, what a great scene. Yes, and the SOG daggert that was used. Love that knife, and I wish I got it when I had the chance, but now they're very, very expensive. There are a lot of cool older SOGs that I would have loved to have gotten when I had the chance. I didn't have the money, but I had the chance. Now it's reverse. Well, no, now I don't have the money to pay that money for what it would cost to get that knife. And I can kind of get it now, but you know what I'm saying. If it was still $150 like it was then, I'd get one. Split and Slice, it says, not sure anyone has mentioned it, but great scene in The Hitman where 4 of the Bocardard assassins fight each other on a subway or bus. This Hitman series I have not seen because I know there are a couple of them. And I know he wears like a cool suit. and he's kind of an albino guy, and he's got not albino, he's like very blonde, and he's got two like silenced pistols, if I'm remembering correctly. I gotta look that up. Bobby Rains, nice to have you here, Bobby. God, man, I love that Bagwell style Bowie there. It catches my eye every time. So Bobby Rains, the second maker of the Rainmaker Bowie. Check it out if you don't know. Expendables 2, when Stallone takes out Jean-Claude Van Damme. Stallone's toothpick from a series is probably my favorite movie knife. Yes, that is cool. I love that was Expendables 2. There's also a great big Bowie that designed by Gil Hibben, that the big genius Nordic guy, what's his name? Rocky IV. He carries a really cool one. But I love when Mickey Rourke throws is it out here? I put it away. Throws the Espada into the wall. Terminator Joe, John Wick. Nice to have you here, Terminator Joe. Always a pleasure, sir. Jacob Green, nice to have you with us. My favorite knife scene is from the first Kingsman movie. I like the first Kingsman movie a lot. Specifically, the famous bar scene where Colin Firth beats everyone up with an umbrella. Only a Brit could pull that off and look classy. Those are really fun movies. I like the Kingsman movies. I like, I live a very casual life. Even at work, I dress as casually as I can for work. But part of me, and after watching Chinatown last night again, really has me in this mode. But how cool would it be if we were all back to being dapper gentlemen, even when we're doing our working class jobs, like working on a film set or whatever, still wearing suits and ties. If that were the norm, I'd be very into it. But it's not the norm, so I'm not. But I don't know, how cool would that be? Anyway, the Kingsman has a lot of classy kind of suits and that kind of thing too. Seth Lang says, put a knife in me, look me in the eye, and I'll see what's going on. Yes. Okay, Seth, thank you, sir. Thank you. Wait, no. Jim, go back, please. Put the knife in me, look me in the eye, and see what's going on in there as you turn it. That's what you want to do, right? Yes, Seth. A man among men. Thank you for bringing that up. Edgy American says, my Rambo knife had a knurled aluminum handle. Did you have the Fury version of it, the Fury knives version of it? Because mine had a knurled handle too. And it wasn't an exact replica, but it looked pretty dang close. I just said, dang, my wife is rubbing off on me. John Wick 3, the 1v2 Tonto fight. I don't remember that. There's a great scene with those two Indonesian guys that he's fighting in that skyscraper with the glass floor, and they both have karambits, and they're both kind of paying homage to him, and that's a cool scene. I like that scene. There's like honor amongst assassins kind of stuff, but great karambit fighting in that. And I'm only assuming they're Indonesian. They kind of look it, and they look like they know Silat, and they're fighting with those karambits. Pretty awesome. Adam Becker. Adam Becker, nice to have you here, sir. I used to have a friend I lost touch with years ago, friend and boss, who was a Becker. Great family that was. Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro in The Hunted, last knife fight scene. Yes, indeed. Every scene in that with a knife is cool. Even the napping scene where they're making the knives. Very cool. I also like the scene where he's remembering Tommy Lee Jones teaching him, and he's going through the striking pattern. I know the Syaks, they call it something else. I can't remember what it's called. It's like not an evolution. Anyway, where they're going through the pattern, and it ends with, it's like a number one, a number two, a strike straight down, and then it's like a slam up under the chin or something. Oh my God. Lone Star says, the Warriors did it. They kill Cyrus, multiple weapons used in many scenes. All right, I got to say, Lone Star brings up the Warriors. And the funny thing is, I was going to say tonight, because I was driving my daughter around, forcing her to listen to some classic rock, and that song "Somewhere Out There in the City," from Joe Walsh and the Eagles came on, and I was like, I know there's a movie that ends with that. What is it? And I looked it up, and it's The Warriors. And I was gonna just throw that out there and see if anyone knew, but he would have known. Thank you for bringing that up. That's an interesting little coinky dink. Shane says Michael Paré embarrassingly took the gang members' bally song from him in the cafe. Oh, what is this? Edgy American. Shane, remind me what you're talking about. What movie? And I will write it down so I can see it, because I need to see some quality knife pictures. Autumn Wind, nice to have you here, sir. Hello, Bob. Hello, all. Glad you're enjoying the knife, Autumn Wind, and glad you're here. Sword XXXY, good to have you. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Sorry, I'm late. No apologies, man. We're all we come when we come. Denny O'Fools, good to have you here, Denny. Animal House bar scene. Mind if we dance with your dates? That's all I remember from the bar scene. Greg Vanderlip, damn, I was just watching Chinatown last night. I know I mention it every time, but the Vanderlip Dam. Good to have you here, Greg. The hunted film version of the tracker is dope. In every scene, it's in that version I want to get someday. Tops has some cool trackers, and they have one that is it's like an elongated tracker with it's extra tactical. Check out the ones from them, and also 411 Outdoors has recently had a thing for the tracker knife, and he's put out a couple of really cool videos. So check those out. Ryan Lynch says, loving the content lately, Bob. Happy to say I'm officially a gentleman junkie. Ryan, thank you. Are you on my list? I don't remember your name on my list. Let's see. I think we're gonna have to add you if you just joined, because I don't remember. All right. So anyone who I know that Ryan Lynch has now joined, and Audits, Relentless Audits joined. Send me your address to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com, and I will send you stickers and a coaster like this, upon which you put your drink so as not to be a barbarian and leaving rings in your tables and stuff. Terminator Joe says, Commando Arnold. And by the way, thank you so much for joining, Ryan. It's an honor and a pleasure. Commando Arnold versus Vernon Hall at the end when he persuades him to drop his gun and have a knife fight. Yes, sir. Vernon Hall, was he someone other than an actor? Because he looked familiar, I remember, when I first saw it way back when. Jacob Green, as a former competitive fencer, The Princess Bride is absolutely on spot. So that there's that awesome scene where they're up and down and all around on that ruined castle. Yeah, there's some great sword fighting in that. Victor Blade says, okay, so don't kill me for this because the movie was a musical. It's all right. But the knife scenes were, for me, very memorable and made me want a switchblade so bad. I was young. I was a youngin'. Yes, West Side Story. Well, it's a great movie. West Side Story is an awesome movie. And I'm not talking about the new one with Snow White in it. I'm talking about the old one. Ed, my fellow knife junkies. Good to have you here, Ed. Chaka bra. James Stover says, I recommend the movie Exposure with Peter Coyote and Yuri Chenko from the 1990s. Great knife-centric movie. James, we've been talking about that. That was my pick. I love that movie, and I love the knife scenes in it, especially when he's selecting his knife. Let's see, Gerard Butler, Rafe Fiennes have some great knife fight scenes in some poetry movie. Forget the name. Poetry movie. Huh. Wonder what that is. Speaking of Rafe Fiennes, he was in recently The Return, where he plays Odysseus. And oh my God, that is such a beautiful movie. It's so well done. I love that movie. And then also to see Rafe Fiennes, who's like 61. all ropey and cut, I was like, yes, there's still a chance for me to lose this visceral fat. Lark Bark, good to have you here, Lark Bark. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Lark Bark, good evening to you. All of that said, I mean, before we even get to this knife check, before we even get to this knife giveaway, I think I gotta say, let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
Whew, it's been a good hour, and I've been gabbing, and I've neglected my duties to show off what I've been carrying and ask you what you've been carrying. This is the Off-Grid Knives. Oh my. Off-Grid Knives Stinger XL drop point. And now this is the knife we're giving away. We're giving it away in the all black tonight to the Gentleman Junkie, who is luckiest, who will win that, and the bolt pen. But I've been carrying this since I got it about 2 weeks ago. A lot. You can see where some of my denim dye from my newish blue jeans have rubbed off on that. I got to hit that with some alcohol. But I love this knife. And this has also stepped in as a steak knife recently. When I took my daughter to I hope no one here is from Maryland, but I took my daughter to Maryland. I will reserve my judgment of Maryland for a volleyball tournament. And on the way back, we stopped. I got a steak. This is what I cut it with. I love this knife. I've been carrying it a lot, and I really loved the original Stinger that had a dagger grind, or sort of a bayonet grind, with a medial ridge and symmetrical bevels on the top and bottom, with a bayonet sort of situation here, because it had full thickness up to about where my thumb reaches, and then broke into a very thin, full-length dagger-style swedge. Great, very sharp knife that was, but this one with its full flat grind is even more sharper, even sharper. Sorry for the grammar, but I've been loving this, carrying it a lot, like pretty much almost full time for the last 2 weeks. Not totally, I'm a knife junkie. I do have to switch it up, but carrying this one a lot. So I'm very excited to give away the black one, only so that I don't start carrying that one too and mess up the clip, which happens because I lean against counters and stuff. And so this one has not been carried, only been fondled here at the table. So that's what I'm giving out to you. But I take it from me, I love this one. It's funny, whenever I get a new off-grid knife, I carry them differently than I carry most new knives, in that they end up in my pocket for quite a while consecutively. Usually I'm constantly swapping, but with the off-grids, I don't know, I dig in. Second on me, I had the just randomly chosen out of my dresser slip joint case collection, my Sodbuster Jr. I love this with the CV blade. It's got a great patina on it. This one is also a very good food knife. And at work, I soft boil eggs. I try and eat a lot of eggs, and this is what I cut a channel in my soft boiled eggs with, so that I can embed sharp cheddar in the hot yolk, and it's very enjoyable. So this is my soft boiled egg knife, I guess. A really, really awesome knife. I love these Sodbuster Juniors, especially. They seem to take good care in the making of their CV, or carbon steel bladed knives. They're much fewer and further between than their true sharp stainless steel knives. And I feel like you can tell they just put a little extra effort in them. Even the cheaper handle, like this yellow Delrin. But I love this. Great action on this knife. No half stop, but a great knife, and a great knife. Next up, I had the Bottle Rocket from Auxiliary Manufacturing. I love this one. I got this one Blade Show 2023, 2022, I think. A great EDC dagger. That's a 3-inch blade. Is that 3 inches? Let me see. I don't want to be a liar. Yep, it's a 3-inch blade here. Perfectly ground. Those 4 bevels are all perfectly even. And a great octagonal handle. Octagonal in cross section. And any way you hold it, any way you happen to grab it, it fits and feels perfect. It's great in a reverse grip, especially, which is important for a dagger. And then last up for emotional support today, I've had the Dirk Pinkerton custom razorback with a full sharpened back edge. This beautiful knife is inspired by both the Bagwell Hellsbells Bowie and Middle Eastern desert knives like the Khanjar. And I love that. I love double-edged upswept blades because you get the best of both worlds. You get the slashing benefit of a belly, but you also get that sort of recurve trapping effect of the curved back edge. So no matter how you bring it to bear, this thing is positively wicked. I really, really love this knife. Beautifully hollow ground on both bevels by Dirk Pinkerton. A lot of us know him for his myriad designs made by companies like Concept and Kaiser and other great knife making companies, but his handmade custom knives made in his shop are just the best. I love them, and I plan on buying one when I see him at Blade Show this year. I don't know what it'll be, but I'm getting something from Dirk. So that's what I had on me today. My ESK today was the Razorback from Pinkerton Custom Knives. I also had the custom handmade double-edged auxiliary manufacturing awesomeness in the pocket rocket, or not pocket rocket, the bottle rocket, sorry. The Sodbuster Jr. from Case with the Del Rin and the CV blade. And then my EDC for the past couple of weeks, the Off-Grid Knives Drop Point Stinger XL. So that's what I got for you. And soon we're going to be cheesy remakes ruin legacies. Yes, they do. So many. But I'm not asking for a cheesy remake. And actually, Exposure or La Grande Art or whatever, however you want to call it, was a little bit cheesy, made in the 80s, a little bit fromage. I've always liked Peter Coyote, especially his voiceover work. He's done a lot of good voiceover work, but something about him can be a little cheesy. But this would be a remake that would be. It would be a great one. You know what? I'm pitching it tonight, this very same night. Ed said, do lightsaber fights count? Sure. Ed, I'll say sure. Though I'm not inclined personally, only because I think Star Wars ran its course so long ago. I guess after Return of the Jedi, I feel like they were done. But that said, there is some good choreography with those fights. So let us have it. Let us know what you're talking about. Terminator Joe says, sorry, not to impugn anyone's taste. That's just how I feel about Star Wars. Terminator Joe says, the knife versus shield fight between Winter Soldier and Captain America. That is cool. And he's got a Gerber Mark IV, I believe. And I like that thing where he throws it to his other hand. Doug Bull says, Bob, I also got the stickers you sent. Thanks much. Oh, my pleasure, Doug. Stick them on stuff. And in good health, let people know it's a conversation starter. But I'm glad you got them. Pat D's Nuts. Nice to have you here, Pat. Hello, all. Well, hello to you, sir. We're just about to start this here Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. Let's see. And Pat, you are a part of this giveaway here, so I will read your name in a moment. Jerry C says, I like the sword fights and training scenes in The Last Samurai. That's a good movie. Do you ever see let's see, it's from the Dave Chappelle show way back in the day with the comedian Mooney. I can't remember his first name, but he plays a character called Negro Damas. That was the name of the character. And he's like Nostradamus. And he says funny things and predicts things and says other stuff. And he talks about The Last Samurai. And he's, I can't tell the joke, but it's very funny. Look it up. It's funny, but I'm not allowed to tell the joke. But he does a Last Samurai joke that's very funny. That's good. I love those old shows. Those Chappelle shows were great. Have a Knife Day says, Bob, it's cowboy straw hat season now. I'm going to pick one out this Saturday. Ooh, you know what? And I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I need a cool hat. And other than the baseball hat, I need a cool, like, I'd love to have a fedora, but I'm a firm believer that if you wear a fedora, and I'm sure this extends to cowboy hat, you at very least have to have the right boots or shoes. You cannot wear a fedora in sneakers. You know, fedora needs like brogues or wingtips or desert boots or some sort of dressy-ish shoe. You can't just like put anything on and wear a fedora. And I would imagine the same thing goes for a cowboy hat, you know? So you got to be very careful when you choose when you choose a bit of fashion, especially a hat. You got to be careful with what it goes with, you know? And since I'm not willing to go all the way and get like a 1930s suit and a fedora and the whole thing, which I would love to walk around like that, but I'm just not there yet. I can't wear a fedora. I can't wear a fedora with my Red Wing boots. That looks stupid. But I'll work up to it. James Hart says, okay, just remembered one. The knife fight at the end of Dune, the original movie. Okay. Yeah, the new Dune movies also have great knife scenes. Paul Mills, I love that show and the movies Highlander. Oh, yeah. Karen mentioned Highlander before. There was a scene in the original movie where he's rolling a sword around his arms, and it looks so cool. It's like the tip is on the ground, and he does one of these things where like, I can't do it here or with this, but he rolls the sword from one arm to the next, and it just looks so cool. Terminator Joe, Jean-Claude kicking a knife into a man's heart. The Hibben, Arkansas toothpick, which I have. Very nice, man. I don't have any Gil Hibbins, and there was a period of time where I was so into Gil Hibben designs. That Bowie with the serious recurve, and then that dagger, which was in Natural Born Killers. Great. Edgy American. Any of the knife scenes. Oh, yes. Excellent. In Book of Eli, I will make that machete one day. Yes. I will buy one of those from you. I love that machete, and he did all that collie stuff, and he had it positioned so that he could just draw it downward. And I have, a couple of Schrade machetes that have baldricks, and you can kind of hang it like that and just reach out like that and pull it out. So cool. Book of Eli was a good one too, says Paul Mills. Excellent. All right, let's give this knife away. Paul Mills, anything with Denzel Washington is usually good. I could not agree with you more. He's in my top 3 favorite current living actors, I gotta say. I love Denzel Washington. All right, next, let's do this. The Bolt tactical pen. Bob, it's okay. Let's see. Bob, it's cowboy straw hat season. I'm going to pick one up this Saturday, made by American Hat Company in Bowie, Texas. When are you getting one? I feel like that hat I could wear with my Iron Ranger boots. I am not a cowboy boot guy. Unless it's a lace-up cowboy boot, and I've seen those, but those are just for horse riding. They're not necessarily cowboy boots. I'm just not a Western boot guy, and I feel like a cowboy hat needs those boots. But old school service boots, I think, could also flex into a cowboy hat if it's a flatter brim cowboy hat, like Unforgiven. Like, I am not a cowboy hat wearer with the brim that goes up. I'm just not. I'm an Ohio boy. I can't do that. But I could wear a wide brim flat cowboy hat, a wide flat brim cowboy. Okay. Especially with my boot choice. All right, let's get to this. You don't need to know about my fashion choices, dubious as they are. The Bolt tactical pen looks like this, except the one in this unopened box is camo green. Camo green. The only reason I'm not showing it is because I want it to arrive to you in the sealed box. I could not do that with this knife. I had to pull it out to show it off to make the video. So these are the two things that are going up for giveaway tonight. So let us read off the names, and we have to include two people here. We have to include Jim, who are our two new Relentless Audits joined tonight, and I believe, well, let's read these first. So Adrian Sanchez, 5-Door, Ben Belkin, Billy Ford, Byron Kennedy, Colin Maison-Pierre, Craig Vincent, Donald Fry, Doug Bowl, EDC Gear Guy, Edwin Callow, Gavin Kalitis, Jay McConnell, Jammin Parker, Jason, Jeff Hamilton, Jeff Wright, Jesse Gray Bear, thank you for being a new joiner, Jesse Tellis, Jocks Knife, JVF, Larry Elizondo, Martin Gamboa, Matthew Lamana, Never Enough Knives 007, Pat D's Nuts, that always cracks me up, Ronald Reimer, Scott Nelson, Sean Welford, Thomas Butler, V2, thank you, Dad, Northern Knives, Will Be, we have Relentless Audits, who's brand new, and we had someone who just joined. Dear Lord, I did not write it down. Jim, do you remember who that was? Sorry, I'm forgetting. Well, let's get the wheel up. Jim does not remember. Chime in, someone. I'm going to give you a minute or so. Chime in, and we'll get you on the board, on the wheel, if we can. And while we do so, I will stall and show off a little bit of. I'll show off one of the knives that we're going to be giving away in the offing here. Let's see. We got you. Is it? Okay, Jesse Graybeard is there. Okay. All right. Gavin Kalitis, Jackson Knife, Jeff Maison-Pierre. It's Ryan Lynch. Ryan Lynch. Thank you, Ryan. Can we get Ryan on there? Jim, Ryan Lynch, is he in there? Thank you, sir. And thank you for texting me, Ryan. I appreciate that, sir. All right. And is Relentless Audits on there? Because he just joined as well. Relentless Audits. Let's see. All right. Pop him in there. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Look at this. You're seeing how the sausage is made in real time. Thank you, Jim. Without Jim, lost. A babe in the woods. All right, sirs, good sirs and madams, let's roll this in 3, 2, and 1. Here it goes. Here it goes. Yes, let's see. Wouldn't that be a gas if, let's see. Northern Knives. Mike. All right, Mike, this is yours, sir. Northern Knives now gets the Off-Grid Knives Stinger XL in drop point, full flat ground drop point, and a Bolt tactical pen. I'm very happy to be sending this to my good buddy Mike up in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm going to set that aside. You will get that in the box. It's I've had it out all night, but there you go. And thank you guys. Thank you one and all for being patrons. That it's Jim and I are humbled and grateful for your support. It's awesome. Thank you so much. And next month we're going to be doing something special. And every month is something special, I feel. But I'm working on something that is extra special. Okay. That was someone texting me. Okay, I want to show off some of these knives that the very special Dave of OG Blade Reviews has given me to give to you. And he has gone above and beyond here. Thanks to Jim for James Moore says, thanks to Jim for explaining, because my doing so would seem kind of ironic. But from what you said, you really should remember Jack Burton's remark when he threw the knife at Lo Pan. What was his remark? I don't know, but I got my wife a Jack Burton for President t-shirt during the 2024 election. Sadly, he did not run, but luckily things turned out all right, at least for this household. Chris229, good to have you here, Chris. Evening, everyone. Well, good evening to you, sir. I like your angles of attack. Not emoji, but thing there. Edgy American says, cool blades in Predator. Very underrated. Very fun. Yes. Well, the survival knives, they all had, if you watch the movie as much as I have, they all have the same pair of knives. They all have the survival style knife, and then they all have that big one that Billy carves his chest with. And you see them on their persons at different times. Arnold uses it and Billy uses it. Everyone else just kind of has it on them. Arnold uses it to cut the drive belt from the random engine that's running the wheel, that's keeping the power on at the not the refugee, but the bad guy camp in the very beginning. And he has it on his leg, and he has it in reverse grip and slashes that thing. And then you never see it. He just leaves it there, which is crazy to me in movies. I'm like, you have this awesome knife, you're gonna leave it in that guy you just stabbed, or you're gonna just like cut something and then leave it on the ground? Like, what are you doing? But anyway, I couldn't agree with you more, Shane. I love the knives in that movie, especially the big one. They call it a machete, but it's we know it's more than that. Ed says, watched Desperado as a kid, and I'll never forget Danny Trejo's knife throwing scene. Yeah, where they're all cruciform, right? They're all like crucifixes. He seems like a mountain to me. Turned out he's 5'6". Yeah, there's something to be said for attitude, man. Yeah, my wife is a petite little thing, but you wouldn't know it from her attitude. James Moore says, another great one, the knife throw that commences the final battle in Yojimbo. What a great movie Yojimbo is. And I can't even remember that. How about this knife throw? Enough talk. Conan the Destroyer. Great knife throw scene. And it turns into a very cheesy but awesome sword fight. The difference between Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer could not be more stark. The first one was directed by John Milius and written by Oliver Stone, Conan the Barbarian. Amazing movie. Conan the Destroyer, just cheese all day long. But, I still stop on it and watch it. Bombata, bombata. Tom Turnbuckle 007. Nice to have you here, Tom. The fixed blade from The Hunted and Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Now, that one I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen snippets of it whilst spinning the TV, but I don't know the knife from Van Helsing. An American Father says, Gil Hibbins' shop is just down the road from me. He has some fantastic film knives on display. How cool. And, we know him for his fantasy knives, but his knife knives, we talked about him last week. He made some incredible knives. I love both of his Kempo knives. The first one looked a bit like a stylized 70s sort of Randall, and the second one was sort of it looked a little bit like a knife version of a barong. Both beautiful. Oh yes, Strings, great knife scenes in the movie Young Guns with Lou Diamond Phillips. Takes a knife through the arm. Ouch. Yeah, and he has a ring Bowie. And I've never been able to figure this out. I always used to think that they were so cool, but he has a Bowie like this. This is a sub-hilt fighter, but he has a Bowie, and instead of a sub-hilt, it's got a ring. And there's a scene where he's like in slow motion, flipping it around his finger. And I thought, oh my God, that is so cool. But I'm not sure what a ring on a knife, like a single ring on a knife like that actually does. but I always thought it looked cool. Manners maketh the man, says Have a Knife Day. I could not agree with you more, sir. I could not agree with you more. Okay, OG Blade Reviews. Today's carry, North Mountain Blades Kickstop Chop in SLD Magic Sanmai. That is that absolutely beautiful Tonto. That is a gorgeous knife. Artisan Kami, a great, we were talking about Dirk Pinkerton before, a great Pinkerton design. Bastinelli PY, Tonto Fixie, that's also an awesome one. My good friend Ian used to carry that daily, which I thought was rather large to be carrying around, especially outside the waistband, but he did it. Hogue Deca Magna Cut, beautiful, with LEX, oh yeah, custom tie scales, very nice. Max Ace Sandstorm tie M390, man, that's almost a different knife from the Sandstorm K. How beautiful is that? And the Reich Lamella. Pardon me, I'm unfamiliar with that, or I'm not sure which one that is by name. But as always, OG Blade Reviews has a killer carry. And speaking of OG Blade Reviews, let me show you one of the sweet knives he gave me to give to you. Here is the Kaiser Baby, designed by, this is an Azo design. And I always thought in pictures it looked a little goofy, but man, this is an awesome knife. You've got jimping down here, jimping right up here. It's so comfortable, super thin and slicey. It's a leaf-shaped blade, but it's a leaf in the wind. You see there's a slight curve right there at the tip, a little bit of a recurve, so that tip, when you're cutting, nothing is glancing off that tip. Really thoughtfully designed knife, and a great Kydex sheath pancake style with a full 360 rotation. And you say, Bob, what are you talking about? That looks like 90 degrees. Well, you can orient this any way you want on the front or the back of the sheath. So that 90 degrees times 4 gives you a full 360. So boom, shakalaka. And there I am doing math live on camera. This is a 154 cm blade. Excellent blade steel. So we'll be giving this away. Oh, also JG10. Let me show you a couple more while I'm at it. This one I've been harboring for a while, and I got to give it away. Otherwise, I have to add it to the permanent collection. This is the Metamorph fixed blade by Real Steel, and this thing is so sweet. I mean, I was talking about great steak knives, among many other things. This 14C28N Real Steel, designed by one of my favorites, especially one of my favorite Polish designers, Ostap Hell. This would make an incredible steak knife. Look at the shape, but it would also work really well as an EDC defensive blade. I mean, we know it's super sharp and it'll work for anything, but with this setup and with that sort of samurai carry sheath, this thing is going to be great for all purposes, let's say. But yeah, I could see it even in reverse tip down, edge in, would make an excellent self-defense knife. But really, let's talk about going out for dinner. Awesome knife. Thank you, Dave, for these. I'm going to show one more and then take your comments. Let's go fancy. Not fancy, but extra. This one is a Tops knife, and this is the Poker, designed by Craig Powell. You know Craig from all the videos from Tops. He's the general manager at Tops Knives, and he's been with them a long time. He was on the Knife Junkie podcast interview show a number of years back, and this is his design. Came out, I guess I'd say 2022 or 23 maybe at the latest. But a really nice karambit style knife. And I got to say, I'm not always a fan of the pinky in the hole. I usually use the ring as a pommel, but here it works great. It feels great with the hand in there, finger in there. It also works great with a natural fist like this if you have to use it defensively. But this is just generally a great sort of utility knife. You've got that straight edge. You've got a great sort of elongated swale spine to use for all sorts of the kind of cuts you're actually probably going to do, opening up Amazon boxes or what have you, Blade HQ boxes. A really awesome black and tan micarta handle. That's this is, I believe, I'm not sure if this is 154. Sometimes they do their smaller knives that they know are going to be closer to the body in 154. I'm not sure what the steel is on this. I got to look it up. It's not marked on here. But 1095 or 154 is what you can count on from Tops Knives. So very cool. Thank you so much, Dave, for these and the others I'll be showing shortly here. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, let me put this away so that it's not right up in my face. Predators, not Predator with Adrian Brody. Oh, well, that one is that's the Iron Eagle, right, from Tops Knives. He's got right here. And the Predators is also a good movie. There are some real not so great ones in the Predator series, but Predators, where the 5 or 6 predators, human predators, are dropped off on the Predator planet, and they bump into Lawrence Fishburne, which is fortunate. I like that movie a lot, but I always thought it was cool that Adrian Brody has a Tops right here. Great scene with the Yakuza guy fighting with a samurai sword against the Predator in the field. That is cool. Scott says, I recall that guy owns the Predator knives, showing them on a forum called British Blades. Very cool. I recall a guy who owns the Predator. Oh, cool. Awesome. James Hart, I live in Wyoming. Braggart. Wyoming is one of the most beautiful places I've seen in this country. So good for you, James. James says, I live in Wyoming and wear a Stetson cowboy hat. How cool. Yes, it looks great with boots, but many actual cowboys who work on ranches wear a good pair of leather work boots. All right, that works. What doesn't work is sneakers, and a cowboy hat. That just no good. Homie Omi, Chappelle Show was the best. I couldn't agree more. I loved that show. And every once in a while, there'll be a bunch of them. I also love Key and Peele, and I get tons of Key and Peele in my YouTube feed. And those guys, holy crap, they were funny. Look at the trees. Good to have you here. Look at the trees. Red Sonja with the hearts in the eyes. Yes, Red Sonja. Who was that? Who played? That wasn't Tawny Katane, was it? Who played Red Sonja? It couldn't be. She couldn't act. Who played Red Sonja? But yeah, I remember that. And I remember thinking, how is Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie as a barbarian, but he's not playing Conan? He should at least be Conan. Seth Lang says, one more contribution for the night. The sword fight between Christian Bale and Taye Diggs in the movie Equilibrium, 2002, underrated movie. I have not seen that movie. Equilibrium. Thank you for that. The Momoa Conan was the most comic accurate. Okay. All right. I got a bone to pick with you, sir. I will say this. Jason Momoa looks like the comic book Conan. He looks like him. Yes. The swords in that movie were a disgrace. I got to say, they were awful. They almost looked, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, 1931 Leatherworks. Thank you for being here. But the swords in that movie were so awful. They were obviously not real. They weren't like the Lord of the Rings swords, which were obviously real. They were obviously not real. And they looked like, I remember we went to see that for my 37th birthday in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia. And then we went to a great dinner at a place that's no longer there. I can remember the whole evening because I remember saying to my wife, like, those swords are distracting me. I cannot watch this movie. They're distracting me. They look like they were blown up. Where you got to quickly put the plug in there, like your raft that you have in your pool so that it doesn't deflate. Oh, God, those swords were awful. But maybe in terms of story, because I only had like a dozen Conan comic books. So maybe in terms of story, they were most accurate. And definitely Jason Momoa in that movie looked like the comic book Conan. But those swords, man, terrible. Whoever did that, I hope they're not working in Hollywood anymore. I hope they're like an insurance salesman in, Wisconsin. Benedict Odie says, Bob, your praise of the Microtech amphibian has me swayed. I have one on the way. Good prices on Midway. Awesome, man. You will love it. That is such a great knife. Favorite knife of 2023, 24, I can't remember when. But favorite knife, folder or otherwise. Doug Bull says, my favorite cap I wear is the Expendables 2 flat cap worn by Denzel Washington. Oh, cool. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. That's kind of a military cap, right? With the Will B, nice to have you here, Will. I had my Heretic Pariah manual glow carbon fiber. Pariah. Okay. Is that the clip point? The Pariah. Microtech Stitch Ram Lock. What a great one. Benedict, that's the next one to get after your amphibian is the Microtech Stitch Ram Lock. I never liked the Stitch the way it looked, and then I got one in hand, and I was like, oh, my God, I love this knife. And the Ram Lock is one of my favorite versions, or favorite, knives, period. Spyderco Military 2 in Crew Carta. Awesome. Protec, that's Crew Wear and Micarta. Protec Magic Whiskers 2. Microtech, that was weird. Microtech Hera 2. Microtech SOCOM Alpha fixed blade. Oh, yeah. Nice. I think Dave has one of those. Olight Arkfeld Pro. Very nice as always. You've got a very what's his name? Oh God. Marfione heavy. Because right, Heretic is the Marfione Jr. and then all those Microtechs. So you have a very Marfione heavy carry today. I like it. Ed says the Sax short sword. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else. Uthred carries in the Last Kingdom series is bad. I might have Edgy make me a replica of it with a top-notch HRC of his. Oh, that would be cool. How about this, Ed? Have you seen the Northman, the Scramasax that he walks around with, especially on the raids early on in the movie? He's got it front scout. It's about this big. Oh my God, it is so cool. I think you would like it. Right up your alley. John Wick on the subway in Rome, says Sean Clark. Sean, thanks for joining us and thanks for chiming in. That has been a big one tonight. People love that one, as do I. It's in your aorta. Split and Slices says, all right, Bob, Jim, guys and dolls. Had 2 late nights, 1:30 a.m. this morning at the shop. Need sleep. Thanks for the live. Bye all. Split and Slices. Byron, have a wonderful weekend, man. Always great to see you here. And I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you here next week. Oh, no, I won't see you here next week. This is a good time to mention this. Next week, we will not be here. We will not be going live on Thursday night next week. But that just leaves you wanting more. So we'll see you the week after that, the Thursday night after that. What is going on? I feel like, all right. 1931 Leatherworks. I'm just saying the actual story of the Momoa Conan was more accurate than Barbarian the Destroyer. He's like, Bob, get your knickers out of a twist, man. I'm just saying. I hear you. I actually wouldn't know because I'm shallow and I pay attention only to the looks of things. So that's cool. Good to know that it's a good story. And maybe I should give it another look for the story itself and just try and get the swords out of my head when I'm watching. Have a Knife Day says, I have 2 Stetsons and 2 American cowboy hats, dark indigo jeans, cowboy boots, and an appropriate button-up or a Have a Knife Day t-shirt. Shirt tucked in with pocket knife and a Barlow. Ooh, very nice. And why not a Bowie? I know you wear Bowies on the outside. Oh, Bo Derek. Whew, she was formative. I'm old enough that she was formative in my adolescent years. 1931 Leatherwork says, Bo Derek was in Tommy Boy, not Red Sonja. No, I didn't say Bo Derek. I said Tawny Katane. Remember her? Redhead. She was in Bachelor Night, Bachelor Party, but she was also in all the White Snake videos. Wasn't that her? Will be. My pariah is a harpoon drop point. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Slight recurve on that, I think, right? Lithonia, nice to have you here, Lithonia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sling Blade, he took the same old weapon and got him locked up in the first place, sharpened it, waited, and told his target he was going to do it, and almost did it in one chop. Taters. I haven't seen that movie in ages. Well, since it came out. Taters. Good movie. Rob Dobbins. Nice to have you here, Ron. I said Rob. Sorry, Ron. Ron, it's nice to have you here. Hello, everyone. Hope you all are having a great day today. I know I had a good day, and I know it only got better once I came home, saw my ladies, and then started talking with all of y'all. James Hart says, well, I'm out. Have a good weekend all, and stay sharp. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your nose to the wind, and your ear to the ground. It's getting strange out there. James, I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you, and I hope you're enjoying beautiful Wyoming. Have an awesome weekend, sir, and I will see you here, not next week, but the week after. Ron says, the Knife Junkie. I picked up a mini Koenig Arius knife. Nice, Ron. That's awesome. That's funny. Today I was just looking at a picture, it must have been Instagram, of the Arius, and what's the other Koenig? It's kind of a Warncliffe. Man, those are beautiful knives. Maybe that was your picture because it was the other knife, which I always thought was smaller than an Arius, next to an Arius, but maybe that Arius was a mini. Anyway, I don't know too much about Koenigs, and I've tried to get him on the show. I think he'd be an awesome guy to interview. Have a Knife Day says, Jason Momoa on Frontier for axe fighting, etc. Frontier. Is that a show on Frontier? He was in that movie where he was blind. There was some really good sword fighting in that. Will B says, no recurve. I think you're thinking of the Oh, that is what I'm thinking of. The Medusa. All right. Well, I gotta get wise to the heretics. They're beautiful. And that's just another rabbit hole to go down. Leon Netoyer. Leon, good to have you here. Sorry if I butchered your name. Hi, everyone. Well, hello to you, sir. I like your fractals. They look cool. An American father says, good night, friends. Stay safe. And remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Stay aware. Thank you, sir. Coming from a SEER instructor, take his advice, people. You'd be wise to do so. Thank you, an American father. Can't wait to have you here next week, sir. Ron Dobbins says, hit that thumbs up, everyone. Thank you, Ron. Could not agree more. Hit the thumbs up. It costs you nothing and takes an instant. Doug Bull says, Bob, have to go out of town early tomorrow. Everybody have a safe and great weekend. Doug, thank you, my man. Thank you for this. And thank you for everything. Have a great night and have a great weekend. Safe trip and Godspeed to you, sir. Knives and pizza, two of my very favorite things. I know I say that every time, but good to have you here, Knives and Pizza. Picked up a mini Arius. Now you got to get the big brother to match. I got to say, I often wondered what the big deal was about the Arius, and then I got one in hand at Blade Show a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, I get it. It is a superlative folder. Professor EDC, so nice to see you, my man. Professor EDC says, Bob, Jim, Knife Junkies, hope everyone is doing well. We're doing well. I hope you're doing great down there. It's been some time. Glad to have the chance to drop by. Well, it's really good to see you and have you here and to see the Holy Trinity. I never quite realized that your avatar is the Trinity of all knives, the Hinderer, the Strider, and the Chris Reeve Sabenza. Lone Star says, almost 7 a.m. here. Oh, no way, in Izmir, Turkey. The cats are assembling in ambush formation waiting for breakfast. That is funny. I only have one cat. She does the same thing. Turkey. How cool is it that we're talking with someone in Turkey? Well, I'm glad you joined us, man. Thank you so much. And come back in 2 weeks. Next Thursday is one of those rare occasions where we won't be here, but I hope to talk to you again next week. That's so cool. Turkey is one of those places I've been wanting to go for a long time. I'd love to go to the Hellespont and see where Troy was, but also I'd love to see the Hagia Sophia and other places in Turkey. I've just heard great things about it. Craig Vincent says, I'd hate to face Braun and his sneaky scout Kerry Kukri. Sneaky scout Kerry. I'm not sure who you were talking about, Craig Vincent, but I don't want to face anyone with a single syllabic name that's got a sneaky kukri. Sounds terrible. Ron says, pick one movie star who you like better than Arnold or Stallone. Oh, man, that I like better? Well, okay. I mean, there are plenty that I like better than, even though I don't like him as a human being in real life. Robert De Niro has always been a huge favorite of mine. He's kind of but I like to separate the art from the artist, and forgetting the fact that he's kind of turned into a crazy old man. I love Robert De Niro. But if you're talking action stars, which I think you are, because you're saying Arnold or Stallone, it doesn't get any better than Arnold or Stallone. But this day and age, I love, what do I call him? I have a name for him. Jason Statham. I like him. He's got the appropriate amount of, he can act enough, and he's a good action star, and he's charismatic. So for this day and age, Jay Stay will do it. I'm not a big Momoa fan. He seems like a cool guy. Be fun to hang out with, but Jack Nicholson. If we're talking like acting, there are plenty of guys I like better than Arnold or Stallone in terms of acting. But in terms of like pure tough guy or action star, yeah, I like Jay Stay. I think he's awesome. Pre-Revolutionary War America for Frontier. Ooh, me likey. I like that period of time. What was that show that was on not that long ago that I was talking about? It was a mini series, 6 episodes. It was so good. Directed by now I'm forgetting. Oh, Primeval, American Primeval. That was awesome. That was post-revolution, pre-Civil War, I believe. Cat Scratch says, my friend at work showed me his new Almar Grunt 1 fighting dagger. Beautiful knife. What? Okay. I love Almar stuff. I got to check this out. Ed says, lawn mowing carry 80-20.5 in AUS 10. That's awesome. That's it. My 80-20.5 in AUS 10 resides on my dresser. I have it in shark's foot, which is not my favorite. Bob, can I see the dagger that Kyle put a double edge on? Yes, you can. It's never far. All right, let's put this here. Thank you, by the way. Shane recommended I get in touch with Kyle to get the Perfrico double-edged. I call this now my perfected Perfrico. This thing is friggin' awesome. So if you haven't seen the videos, one of my favorite YouTubers right now is Peterbilt Knife Guy, and he did some serious abusive tests with this knife, and it passed with flying colors, except his only has one edge. No, I'm just kidding. But that's why, like, I felt doubly justified in getting this double edge, because it's such a robust knife. This is 14C28N. I believe it passed his nail test, but he also drove it through an ammo can, did all sorts of shit with this. And it is very robust. And not to mention just beautiful. But its real Achilles heel was the fact that it was single-edged and totally symmetrical, except for some subtle jimping here and some subtle jimping here. And so it would be very easy to grab this knife and have it poorly oriented without an edge there. But now that I have, let me clean this off. Now that I have a double-edged perfected Perfrico done by Kyle Kunle and his Klingenwerk sharpening company, it is just perfection. Look at that. He did a beautiful, beautiful job on this. And Shane, thank you for that $5 super chat. You shouldn't have. You should not have, but I appreciate it. And so I will salute you. I will put this down so that you can gaze at its beauty, and I will salute you with something big and wonderful. And it's not a Bowie. This, since we had someone from Turkey, this is a Yatagan, originally a Turkish design, short sword. This one is by APOC Survival in 9260 high carbon steel. Beautiful, beautiful modern tactical sword. And to you, Shane, I say thank you so much, man. I do appreciate that. And thank you also for the recommendation for Kyle Kunle and Klingenwerk sharpening. You guys if you have any sharpening needs, reach out to him on Instagram. And definitely check out Kyle Kunle's work. I know he does puts wicked edges on, and by that I don't mean he uses the wicked edge. I don't know if he does or not, but he puts really awesome edges on Shane's knives, Edgy American knives, and he did a beautiful job on my Perfrico. Todd Carr, been listening and lurking. Evening, everyone. Good to have you here, Todd. I could sense the lurk. I could sense you lurking over my shoulder. Good to have you here. Ron says, no, I meant, who do you like out of these two movie stars better? Oh, I got you. Arnold or Stallone? Jeez. All right. When I was a kid and was devouring these movies, I liked Arnold better. But as a man and as an Italian, I like Stallone better. I think he's a cool guy. He just seems to be a cool guy. And I'm not saying Arnold doesn't seem to be a cool guy. I think I think he's got some darkness, under the surface. I've heard weird things about him, and I'm not going to say them here. Not that I've heard them from people who know him personally, but I've heard weird stuff about Arnold, and he seems to be more of an egomaniac than Stallone, which is a turnoff to me. But I still love the guy. I still love his movies, and he's definitely a powerful individual. So I would say, yeah, that's what I would go with. Lone Star says Mel Gibson with dual hatchets in The Patriot. Yes. What a great scene. Oh, it's heartbreaking, but also what an awesome scene. He's just hatcheting. He's just tomahawking the crap out of those redcoats. Craig Vincent says, Sir Bon of the Blackwater, the former sellsword who got knighted in Game of Thrones. All right, here's my thing with Game of Thrones. I loved it, loved watching it. But I'm a simpleton in a lot of ways, and I could never keep up with the names on this. I knew who I was watching and what their relationships were to other people and stuff. But then afterward, my wife and our friends or whomever would talk about it, and I'd be like, "Is that the guy with the sword that looks like?" And they'd be like, "Shut up! It's like, go make us drinks while we talk about Game of Thrones." I just could never keep up with the names. I know it makes me pathetic, but okay. So thank you, sir. Wait, was he the? No, I'm not even going to try. All right. Have a Knife Day says Red Sonja was played by Brigitte Nielsen. I do believe she may have been married to Stallone for a hot minute. I think you're right. And then she was Dolph Lundgren. I don't think she was married, but she was married to him on screen in Rocky IV. Dolph Lundgren. Terminator Joe says Blade 2 when he's looking for Whistler, just slaying vampires. Is that the one with Ryan Reynolds? When Ryan Reynolds was all buff and an archer, I think. I don't know. The Blade movies run together for me. Mount St. Cheetos, good to have you here, Cheeto, as always. Hello, y'all. Well, hello to you, sir. I heard your eruption was something awful. Kyle Kunle, my nose was itching. Someone talking about me, or was it too much powder? Yeah, bro. Right here. I was just showing this off. Shane asked to see it because he hadn't seen it yet. And I was just waxing poetic about your sharpening skills and how unbelievable they are, and how you took this knife from a really robust and awesome production dagger-like instrument and turned it into an actual dagger, and how grateful I am. I love this thing. I have it either in my bag or on the desk with me pretty much all the time. Thank God it's not a Bowie. Just for that, here you go. What do you think of that? Your favorite knife right here. Bob, Braun was a tremendous swordsman, yet always ready to get the drop on an opponent. Oh, yes. Okay. And he was someone's bodyguard. I can't remember who they carried in the crook of his back. Yeah. Played by that cool Scotsman or Irish guy, I think. I know. And I really liked that character a lot. Even though I couldn't remember his name, I really liked him. And he was good. He was someone's bodyguard, wasn't he? Like Tyrion's. See, I know one of the names. Todd Carr says, enough geometry will go through anything and survive for the most part. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but there's also something to be said for other types of tests that aren't just testing geometry. Like that has incredible tip strength too. Going through ammo cans and coming out without blunting and that kind of thing. Shadow Slayer 029 says, do you have any Puko style knives that you would recommend? I like Pukos ever since I saw what's that movie about the Finnish commando trying to get his gold out of Nazi occupied Finland? Damn. Well, no. The short answer is no, I don't, except for the BP Knives Puko. It's inexpensive. It's small. It's like a starter Puko, but it is really good, and I really like that. But I'm sorry, I don't have any because I can't recommend any other than that because they're just not big in my collection. That style of knife, because I don't actually use them on the whole. But maybe someone else here does. Like a Martini Puko, I know is a really good one. But give me some time. I'll get into that for sure. Mike Flamian, good to have you here. Oi to you, sir. You're coming right at the tail end, but that's all right. You can watch this in replay. Canary SK. She also played Dolph's ex in Creed 2. Oh yeah. Those were good movies too. Have a Knife Day says she's also had a fling with Flava Flav. That's right. Flava Flav. That's right. How weird. What a weird combo. That must have been like two publicists coming together and deciding that Flava Flav and Brigitte Nielsen. That is funny. He could be her footstool. He's like tiny compared to her. Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel were in Blade 3. Blade 2 had Norman Reedus. Right, that's right. Norman Reedus. He seems like a cool guy. Sisu. Thank you, Ira. Thank you. Sisu. What a great movie. Let's end with this. That is an awesome knife movie, but unexpected. I mean, he's got a bunch of knives on him, but none of them are what you would think of as fighting knives. They were big Pukos. And he puts one right through a Nazi's head, which is awesome. Coincidentally, Bob, I just got that BPS Puko. It is awesome. One thing about the BPS knives, 1066 steel, it sharpens up easily, but that's good because I've had chippage in two of their knives. Minor, but still, it's not like I'm pushing things to the limits the way I use them. But that little Puko is pretty awesome, and I love the little sheath it comes in. It says, I just finished the House of Dragon Season 2 last night. It still doesn't compare to Game of Thrones, but oh well. It did end in a very good cliffhanger. The battle in Season 3 should be great. That sounds awesome. Gordon Liu with butterfly swords in Fight Against Japanese Psy Fighter in Challenge of the Ninja. Ooh, that sounds cool. Thanks, Bob. Good to see you. Thank you, Kyle. Take care, man. I appreciate you. Great show, says Adrian Fighter 35. Fun topic. Have a great night, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Stay sharp, everyone. Thank you, Adrian. Have an awesome night. Ryan Vest. Hello, gents. Have a great night, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. Hey, guys, says Roman M. Good to have you here, Roman. We've had an awesome conversation about movie knives. If you're just checking in and want to let us know what your favorite movie knife scene is, drop it in the comments. I'll read it. I'll check them out and maybe put up some favorite comments on the midweek supplemental. I love those. But yeah, let me know what your favorite knife scenes are. It's also selfish. I want to get behind the wheel of some of these movies I haven't seen with great knife scenes. Feel like I've talked for 2 hours. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure. I love Thursday nights, and thank you for joining us. And I will see you here in 2 weeks' time. Have a wonderful week. And I got to say, for Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't you dare take dull for an answer.